Award-winning futurist, researcher, and keynote speaker Nikolas Badminton joins us on Canada Now. And Nick, this week we look at seniors because the proof is in the numbers, Nick, that seniors are working longer in life and are more active in the workforce than they used to be.
It's interesting. When I was younger, you'd sort of look at a 65-year-old when you were a teenager, and it'd be like, "Wow, that's so old." And now, then you sort of, I chat to my parents. I was on the phone with them about an hour ago. They're like 75, 76. And you know what? They look like they're in their 50s. They're young and vibrant, and sure, systems are failing a little bit, but they're there. And what they're saying now is like today's 75-year-olds. Were no older in health terms than 65-year-olds were in the 1970s, right? And 50%, and this is a US stat, 50% of people aged 85 or older claim to be healthy enough to work. So this is really interesting, right? We're having an ever-aging population, but they're still hugely capable.
Oh, absolutely. And you've just described my in-laws as well. Like they've retired, but they are so active in doing so many different things. They're more tech savvy than I am. I go for long walks for them or with them, and they're out walking me. They've got more energy than I do. Now, in talking about my in-laws as well, seniors might be more technologically inclined than we think. Apparently, they're spending, 4 hours a day in front of screens, not just televisions.
Yeah, and especially like the fallout of this, the pandemic and the digitalization of the world is that, we can only connect through screens. So I think that 4 hours is sort of an underestimation, if I have to be honest, Jeff. But, TVs, computers, tablets, mobile phones, things like Facebook Portal, whatever, right? So what we're seeing is a digitally savvy and connected older generation. And what does that mean? That means bigger connections through social networks and online news and online banking and all the good things that, they've been sort of waiting to catch up with.
Now, seniors as well, like we talking to about the market that is the seniors. The seniors are spending money. They're the ones with the cash.
Yeah, they are. They are the demographic with the cash in the bank, right? $15 trillion global spending power of those aged 60 and over, right? So they're so important in society because of, the wealth of knowledge and their status and what they've achieved in life, right? We should never forget the importance of the influence and wisdom of elders. Well, in the most part, anyway, Jeff, and really start thinking about, okay, it's a hugely valid part of the population. It's not just Gen Z and millennials or even hardy old grumpy guys like us Gen Xers, right, that are trying to take over and run the world. It's these older generations. We're going to remember. Some of these politicians around the world are pretty old. They're seniors, but they've got a huge amount of power, and that's kind of true all the way down the line to sort of the normal folk that are out there. And I think their voice needs to be heard. I think they need to be empowered. I think we need to honor them a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. And if not for them, for ourselves, because we're all getting older. Like we're going to be in terms of our population, we're going to be the oldest like we've ever been. By 2040, 2050, something like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And how old are you and I going to live to, right? 100, 150?
No, I'm not going to. I'm in my mid-40s right now. I'm not long for here. I mean, Body Breaks Hal Johnson, he's got a hold of me now. He's getting me working out and making me feel guilty about eating crap. So I think he's going to extend my life a little bit. But I think you're going to outlive me, which is a shame because as we've talked about it, I want to see, eventually when you pass away, your burial, how we're going to shoot you in a coffin into space, how we were going to do that. So my goal in life is to outlive you so that I can see that happen.
We did talk about that, Jeff. That's true.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. So I go through some of these mind exercises and I challenge myself and it's like, what if the world was different? And I sat down, I was with my investment advisor a few years ago. He goes, okay, if you live until you might live until you're 95. If you do, you need to save this and this and this and this. I was like, but what if I choose to leave the world at a certain time early? Just want to leave, I'm done. I still look decent. I'm still having a good life, but I get to the point, it's like, you know what? I just want to get out of here. And my partner and her mother hate this idea. Why not at the age of 75, just hit a button, say goodbye, 75. and pass on the wealth and whatever to everyone else. Get out the way, right?
But your genius can live on, right? Because there's like a wait list now in being able to upload our minds. So physically, Nick Badminton would be gone. But let's face it, the best part of you, we would just stick into a robot, right?
Yeah, I sent you an article, and the title is amazing. It's on MIT's Technology Review, which is an amazing website. Go check that out. A startup is pitching a mind uploading service that is open quotes 100% fatal, close quotes, right? and so what's interesting when you think about the people in the Silicon Valley and in tech, and the people that have got techno fetishistic tendencies, it's like, I want to live forever. I don't need to be in this this fleshy body. Let's get rid of that. Let's just work out the essence of who we are. The connectome, as it's known, right?
Yeah.
And put that into a machine. We've seen movies like Chappie and whatever sort of have fun with this. But why not? Why not at the age of 75? It's like, you know what? I've had a great time. Download. You hit a button. Download, upload. I get put into some kind of Android, maybe even like an automatic kettle or something like that, something amusing for a while. Maybe I can transfer between devices and live on forever, right?
Yeah.
What's really interesting is there's been research right now, and they've been able to work out this connectome, the essence of a fruit fly's consciousness. In quotes. And it took 12 years and over $40 million to do that. And it's wildly more simple than the human brain, which has got, so a fruit fly is 25,000 neurons. We're 90 million neurons and 100 trillion synaptic connections. So we're wildly more complicated. But this is what I think, and I spoke at a conference last week about this. In the year 2000, sequencing the genome was $100 million, right?
Yeah.
And today it's less than $1,000.
That's incredible. That's just in just 2 decades.
Yeah. Who's not to say in 20 years' time, right? And I'll be 69 in 20 years' time, that I can sit down and be like, now for $1,000 can download myself and then say goodbye to the world.
Yeah. Well, and in one form. In another form, you'd still hang around like that. That would be my way of reassuring that my wife doesn't remarry. That would be my incentive.
Well, speculatively, if you think about this, if we could have downloaded the genius and consciousness of Carl Sagan, of Marie Curie, of people like Stephen Hawking, and we could have this collective consciousness that's incredible and constantly evolving and solving some of the world's greatest problems. You think about that collective knowledge over time. I've been playing with this idea for a long time. As a futurist, I speculate, and this is a pretty wild idea. Mm-hmm. But reality is sometimes stranger than fiction, right, Jeff? Mm. And we're only 208 years into the Industrial Revolution. What are we going to be like when we're 500 years into it, right? We're not going to be flying in airplanes and driving cars. Maybe we'll just be all uploaded into simulations.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I won't. Well, maybe in some sense I'll be around for that, to be able to see it, and we'll be doing this show, and we'll be able to talk about it, our robotic selves. Speaking of robots, let's talk about senior care. How much of that responsibility are we putting on robots?
So this is really interesting, and the idea that robotics can be used in service for elder people is really fantastic. 32% growth in service robots and 28% growth in medical robots globally over the last couple of years. So, robots that can help with moving older people, dancing, connecting with older people, robots that can go from bed to bed in a hospital when the doctor's 1,000 miles away. There's some really cool stuff out there. We shouldn't sort of outsource everything to the robots, right? Right. It still needs to be human care, but they can certainly help us out. And everything from like robotic pets to, screens, artificial intelligence that make sure that people are okay. I think this is all super valid. We just need to be careful that we're not suddenly thinking, well, the automated elder care home looks after 15,000 people, and there's only one guy called Doug in the corner with a dashboard managing everything, right? I don't think that's the future we're going to be in.
Well, technology is helping right now in terms of satellite tracking systems as they're being used to assist in care.
So this is one of the most... It's one of those like, wow, that's a cool idea. Let's through the use of mobile technology, maybe even implants and GPS and satellite systems, help track elder people. And it could be quite useful. People with dementia, where they are and whatever. Yep. But it's a competition that's been run by the Singapore Land Authority and the Singapore Space and Technology company. And it's kind of stupid. It's like, what's the gimmick? This is when you outsource, even sensible thought about what you should really be doing with elder care. We can't just say, oh, here's a cool piece of technology. What problem can we create that this fixes? I know, the tracking of elders using mobile technology. It's like, okay, it's a loose proposition at best, but let's get the kids to design these amazing systems, and it's very, very dark, Jeff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technology is supposed to be not to replace us. It's supposed to be used to assist us, especially in terms of senior care. And I was close to signing up for something like this, a satellite tracking system for my dad, because unfortunately he has Alzheimer's now. He lives in a long-term care facility now, and we're way beyond this point. But there was a time where he was still living at home and still able to go for walks on his own. At least it was, he was kind of in that window of, okay, but we're not sure he's coming back. Like, we might have to drive around the neighborhood and look for him. Like, we were at that point with him, and he's not one to want to carry things or put stuff in his pockets. He's always checking stuff. Oh, what's this? I don't want this. I don't want to carry this. So we were going to get a thing that you can tie onto his shoe, like on his shoelace. You would tie. He wouldn't even notice it. You would tie it on, and that would be his tracking device. So, something like that, very, very useful. You mentioned it briefly there. Yeah.
I'm not saying that there isn't use. I'm just saying that we shouldn't techno-fetishize elder care and suddenly think that, that exists, because good old-fashioned human-to-human communication and care is wildly important. And, for those frontline workers out there, they need to be paid more. They need to be valued. They need to be given more training and more opportunities to give the care that they're so great at giving, right? And I think that that's really important.
I head to the Netherlands and find what's called a dementia village. And I've spoken, Nick, to the author of Happily Ever Older, Revolutionary Approaches to Long-Term Care, Moira Walsh. She was great. Well, one of my favorite guests. We talked about this on the show. People have flocked to the dementia village to see what's going on there.
Yeah, it's interesting. What if we built a place for people with dementia that really struggle with a number of things, and we build them a place where they can do the things that they love. They can go to the supermarket, they can go to the theater, they can hang out with each other in bars. But the place is designed to enable them to do the things that they can do. It's not designed to stop them from doing the things that will put them in danger or whatever. So it's really interesting. It's a place called the Hoodewijk. It's a care concept. It's a dementia village. One opened in Langley in British Columbia, I think, in the last couple of years, and more are opening across North America and Europe as well. And it's a brilliant idea. It's assisted care whilst empowering these people that have got degenerative conditions of dementia to be able to live their lives in a way where they can be happy, they can be together, and that the carers can do it in a situation where they feel supported and they've got the tools and sort of investment behind them to be able to give amazing care.
It gives those elders their dignity.
It
maintains their dignity, because they should be held in that kind of esteem. Music as well. We should mention music. Music is being used as medicine as well.
Yeah, so again, with dementia,
Yeah.
To be able to reignite memory, music has been incredibly effective to be able to do that. Some research has looked at smell and other senses, and I just think it's brilliant. If you start like looking at the wider the human sensory system and understand the depth of our memory and consciousness and that sort of heritage that we've got inside ourselves, and start researching that and thinking, okay, what can we do to really reignite, those neural pathways and the ways that we can remember who we are, where we came from, the people that we've loved in life and still love in life. I think it's incredibly important.
Absolutely. And look, Nick, I'll say this to you right now because I know you'll take care of me at this time of my life. If you want me to revisit the best time of my life and put me in a good place through music, 3 words for you. Insane Clown Posse. Okay, that's what I'm going to need in a few decades. All right, so bank that and have that at the ready.
The Juggalo Dementia Village. I love it. I love it. That's a great idea.
There you go.
What is it? Whoop whoop. Isn't that what they say?
Yeah. So, you want to join me on that journey? Let's do it. Check out NikolasBadminton.com. Futurist researcher, keynote speaker, Nikolas Badminton. Appreciate it, pal. We'll talk again next week.
Whoop whoop.
There you go. There's Nick Badminton. Talking future.